Hello students, welcome to the channel. Today we'll discuss word choice questions which are tested on the SAT writing and the ACT English section. So let's begin. Question 1. Beavers, large rodents that use sticks, mud and leaves to build dams and streams, are one of the best examples of the interpersonal relationship among all aspects of an ecosystem. So in word choice questions, you need to understand the context of what is being said. You need to clearly understand the meaning and then decide which word would fit the context. So here we are talking about beavers, which are rodents that help environment, that help an ecosystem by building dams and streams. And so they display or they exemplify the interpersonal nature of an ecosystem. The problem with the word interpersonal is that it is used for human beings. It has person in it, and it is used for relationships between human beings, right? So it can't really be used for an animal like beaver. So option A doesn't work. Now, interdependent is a good answer because interdependent means that there is a symbiotic relationship between different organisms in an ecosystem. Organisms help others and in turn are helped by others. So that sense of dependency that goes back and forth, is captured by option B. So I'll keep option B for now. Societal also comes from the word society, and this also is used in a setting where we are talking about a social relationship, which means a relationship involving human beings. Also, societal does not necessarily mean give and take, which is what we are trying to convey. So option C is not correct. And associative indicates association, that there be an association between different aspects, but an association is not necessarily symbiotic. It's not necessarily give and take. So D also doesn't make sense, which means option B is the best answer. Okay. Question 2. Job sharing may present some challenges. If job sharers have discordant capabilities or are unable to communicate effectively, the arrangement may not be successful. So here I'm speaking about job sharing. I'm talking about the same job, the same designation being shared by more than one person. And the problem with that is that if the capabilities of the two people sharing the job don't match, if those capabilities are not complementary, then it can lead to trouble. So I'm a little skeptical of something like discordant, because discordant comes from the word discord, which means a conflict, right? And I'm not saying that the capabilities are in conflict, because it's kind of hard to imagine that, right? Capabilities may not be matched, they may not be complementary, but they can't be in conflict. So I don't like discordant. Okay, again, I can't really use the word contrary for capabilities, right? So might be capable in operations and the other person might be capable at marketing. It's possible that those two don't go together, those two don't gel, but they can't be called contrary. So contrary doesn't seem a good word. Irreconcilable is not a good word in this context. Irreconcilable comes from the word reconcile. It's the opposite of that, right? So when you can't reconcile differences, right? So reconcile is normally used for differences or for conflicts, right? So try to tone down or try to finish those differences is to try to reconcile them. So again, it's used in the context of differences, right? And it can't really be used for capabilities. So I don't like C. Mismatched is a good word. It's possible that capabilities don't match, that capabilities don't uh, work together to pursue a common goal. So the best word in the context of capabilities not working together is mismatched. And so that's my right answer. So you see, it's important to understand the context of what you're saying before you choose the answer. What kind of a word would we use when we are talking about the capabilities of two people not gelling? Okay. Right. Let's go to question 3. In 2008, Savile Row Academy, located within a shop on Savile Row, was established to celebrate the time-honored craft of bespoke tailoring. So here I'm talking about bespoke tailoring, which is basically tailoring suited to a customer's requirement. And the fact that an academy was established within a shop on Savile Row to celebrate this craft. Now, the question is, which choice provides the clearest suggestion that the tradition of bespoke tailoring on Savile Row has diminished, right? So I need to choose a verb which indicates that the tradition of bespoke tailoring has diminished on Savile Row. So if you look at the options, the best answer from these would be preserve, right? Because to preserve something is to increase its life, right? To make sure that it is relevant again, right? So the idea that the academy was established to preserve the time-honored craft of bespoke tailoring indicates that there was a need to extend the life of this craft because it had declined. So I like preserve. Now, celebrate is not the best answer, because to celebrate something does not necessarily mean that you're trying to extend its life, right? So it doesn't convey the sense of diminishment of bespoke tailoring that the question wants us to look at. So A is not out. A is not the answer. Show off is, again, one, show off is sort of an informal word, and I would not be comfortable using a term like that in an ACT or SAT passage, where I'm looking for formal expressions. And also, show off does not convey the sense of preserving or extending the life of something. So that's not correct. And embody is not correct in this context, because to embody is to um, have a representation of something, right? So for example, the institute embodies the ideals of its founder, right? Which means it represents the ideals of its founder. So it does not have the meaning of prolonging the life, of preserving the life of a bespoke tailoring. So in context, the best answer is option C. Question 4. Most map makers at the time arranged cities, mountains, and other features on their maps quite haphazardly. But al-Idrisi, informed by the work of the best Arab and Greek scientists, laid out the sites on his map using astronomical coordinates. So here we are talking about map making, and we are describing a map maker by the name of al-Idrisi. And we are saying that his work contrasted with what most map makers were doing. Most map makers were arranging cities and other features on the maps haphazardly, but al-Idrisi was using precise coordinates, precise astronomical coordinates to bring greater accuracy to his maps. So when I read the sentence, then the word arrange makes sense in the context, because I'm trying to kind of put the different items on the map, right? I'm trying to kind of showcase that these are the things that the map should have. So I'm arranging cities, etc. So I like option A, the way it's written. So I'll keep that for now. Now, collected. Why is collected not a good answer? Because collected is not about giving them a certain structure, right? I'm saying that these objects, these cities, these items were placed haphazardly, right? So collection does not indicate a placement of those items, which is what I need to say here. So I'm not happy with collected. To devise something is to create something, right? And that doesn't fit the context, because I'm not going to create cities, etc. I'm just simply trying to place them in the right order on the map. So that doesn't make sense. And to pose is to kind of like to pose for a picture or to pose for a painting, right? To basically be the subject of one of these. So that also doesn't fit the context of arranging these different items on a map. So in context, the best answer is option A. Okay, let's look at question 5. Iridescent clouds in which patches, bands, or waves of color appear are arresting phenomena, aptly nicknamed rainbow clouds. They flaunt displays that range from pastel suffusions to vivid, fiery streaks. Okay, so here I'm talking about iridescent clouds, which are clouds that have patches, bands, and waves of color. So these are clouds which have a lot of different color in them, and they are arresting phenomena, which is to say that they are impressive. They immediately catch the eye. They are beautiful. Um, they are called rainbow clouds, and they flaunt displays that range from pastel suffusions. So pastel suffusions would be something that is kind of spread throughout the cloud. It's suffused within the cloud to vivid fiery streaks. And a streak would be something like a line that runs across the cloud, right? So the displays range from something to something, right? So I like the word range in this context. So I'll keep range for now. The word differ does not fit the context because I cannot say that it differs from this to that because it's not a point of difference. It's a point of from something to something. It's a point of a range, right? It's not a difference. So B doesn't make sense. Okay, I'm not putting these pastel suffusions and fiery streaks in a hierarchy. I'm not ranking them or I'm not ordering them. I'm just describing the kind of colors that you can see in an iridescent cloud. So C doesn't make sense. And the word trek is completely irrelevant here because a trek is like a hike or a walk that you take for athletic purposes. So that doesn't make sense. So the best answer in the context of this question is option A, range. Question 6. Professional restorer Tomoko Murakami has restored paintings from conspicuous museums across the US, such as Asian Art Museum in San Francisco and the Honolulu Museum of Art. So here I'm speaking of a professional restorer who has restored paintings from a number of museums, right? And I'm trying to kind of say that these museums are well known, right? Because I'm trying to present Murakami's work. So I'm saying that, she has restored paintings from these well known museums. So the word conspicuous does not fit that context because to be conspicuous um, is to basically shine out, right? So for example, something that appears different from others, right? Something that is conspicuous. For example, a very common phrase in English is that he was conspicuous by his absence, which means that he was expected to be present, but since he was not, it was noticed by everyone. So to be conspicuous is to be noticeable, right? Something that strikes the eye. So that doesn't make the sense because here I'm not talking about being noticeable. Here I'm talking about well-known, respected institutions. Okay, notorious is definitely wrong because notorious is the opposite of well-known and respected. So that doesn't make sense. Prominent is a good answer, right? A prominent museum is a museum that is well-known, and Murakami has restored paintings from several such. So I like prominent. Okay, noticeable again doesn't fit the context because it's not the fact that the museum is noticeable is not what we are saying, right? We are saying that when would I say noticeable? I would say noticeable when I'm saying that something was, something caught the eye, right? So for example, the shade of blue in the painting was noticeable, which means it could be seen, it caught the eye. And that's not what we are saying here, right? So the right answer is prominent, option C. Okay, question 7. The rehabilitation of the Vogue Theater in Manistee, Michigan argues that renovating historic buildings can be a source of community spirit and economic growth. Okay, so I'm speaking of the rehabilitation, which is to say that bringing something back to life in the context of a theater in Michigan. So I'm probably trying to say that it was in a poor condition earlier, and now it has been rehabilitated, it has been renovated. So that rehabilitation shows that renovating historic buildings, so if you take this with historic buildings, if you renovate them, then that can boost community spirit and economic growth. So I don't like the word argues, right? Because you a rehabilitation cannot argue something, right? I can argue, a person can argue, right? So something can be an argument for something, but the rehabilitation cannot argue that this happened. So I'm not comfortable with the word argue because that is normally used to indicate speech, right? So, okay, content. To content is to present a claim, right? Sort of argue, but a little less strong, right? So his contention was, or he contended that this should be done. So again, this is, I would prefer this in a context of speech, not to say that the rehabilitation is going to show something or prove something. So I don't like P. Okay, show is actually the best answer. I've been using that word to explain the sentence. The rehabilitation of this theater shows that renovating historic buildings is a good idea. So I like shows. And portray is not used in this context, right? Portray is used in the context of um, art, right? So, for example, the portrayal of such and such character in the novel, or the portrayal of such and such character on film. So, portrayal is used to in the context of art forms, right? So, it doesn't fit the context of a rehabilitation of a building, showing something or proving something. So the best answer in this context is option C. Right, so that was a quick drill on word choice questions. If you found this useful, please hit like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comment section if you would like to have more such drills on the channel, and I'll try and upload some. I'll see you guys in a new video soon. Take care. Bye-bye.